quite fit 12-inch. What I'm thinking, AN fittings that drop down in, and I ran it over to where the battery used to be. This little freaking cubby hole, it never works. The carbines are gone. A lot of Z bumpers, they just don't look good. What up, what up? Welcome back, guys. We are here today with another one. I'm finally trying to get back in the momentum of making some videos and stuff. And as you can tell, we are in my very own shop. I've got it all enclosed. It is all finished up technically. I've got to redo the back door and kind of seal it up back there because water will just flow on through here. Got to fix that. No biggie though. But we do have the Z here. The Z's home. I've actually been busting some stuff out on it off camera. Just to kind of get things moving along in a sense. Let's kind of go, I want to show you guys what all has kind of been done to it. And I'll go a little bit more in depth later on in the video. But just to kind of give you an idea where we sit. And then we start busting some stuff out on the oil cooler system. Recently, I've gotten actually all the intercooler piping and everything's done except for the blow off valve. I'm going to end up putting it down here on the intake side. Just waiting on the specific like piping to come in to mount the blow off valve to. And we'll be good to go. I got them all beaded and everything, ready to go. We got new injectors in here. I'm waiting on some block off AN fittings for the fuel rail. The fuel rail will be ready to go on so that I can finish plumbing up all the fuel system and everything. Because I got the fuel filter and everything already done down here. Lines already ran to come up to this side of the fuel rail. And that one's all just already dangling there, waiting to go to the fuel rail too. I also went ahead and put a catch can on. I haven't quite figured out where I want to mount the oil cooler yet. But I have it sitting over here, and I've already got it fan shroud and everything made. Fans are ready to go on, all that stuff. But yeah, I haven't done any gaskets or anything on the motor, no valve cover gaskets, intake gaskets, nothing like that, because I'm still having to take this stuff on and off, and I don't want to damage anything really. But today, we'll probably have to run to Lowe's. I got a 16-inch fan sitting over there in that big box. That's gonna go on the radiator. I don't think I can quite fit two 12-inch fans, so I'm kind of just trying to make it work a little bit. Hopefully this 16-inch fan works. So here it is. She's getting there slowly but surely, but let's just go ahead and roll the montage. So that gives you an idea of where we're kind of sitting at with the Z. Still got quite a bit to do. It is shortening up quite a bit though, now that I have the car here and can just do stuff whenever I want to on it. I'm gonna go ahead and start plumbing all the lines for the oil cooler and everything. I'm still not quite sure how I want to mount it, but I know more or less the location that I want. So I'll just leave the lines a little extra long and we'll just go from there. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alright, so we got the sandwich plate in. I'm gonna start throwing the lines on and seeing how they need to be routed. I think I'm gonna mount the oil cooler on this side down here somewhere. The intercooler piping basically comes through right here. It drops down and goes straight to it, and then it's just a 90 into the intercooler. I'm thinking, I don't know, like sideways right here, kind of, I don't know. I'll figure it out, but let's go ahead and throw these lines on and go from there. placed here. That way they're kind of out of the way. I can split that one up if I ever needed to get to the motor mount. And boom, good to go. I'll grab the oil cooler and kind of show you guys what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking is mounting it somewhat like that. That way it's out of the way of the intercooler piping, because the intercooler piping is going to be running down here, and the fittings won't be poking out near the tire or anything, but I'll still have plenty of airflow coming through the front, especially given that I'm not running a front bumper right now. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but I'll have to make some brackets and stuff over at Nate's house because I don't have a welder here. I'll just kind of have to play it by ear once I'm at Nate's, but at least the lines are ran, it's ready to go in, and then just plumbing it up is basically it. And then, but if you guys have any other better ideas on how I should mount that oil cooler, because I'm kind of working with little room and I don't know necessarily where, if I need to just redo my entire like radiator intercooler mounting so that I can fit it up front, I don't quite know. So drop a comment, let me know if you have any better ideas, because I would love to hear, because I'm just a dumb idiot. I don't know what I'm doing here. I kind of want to give you guys more of a walk around of the car and show you more or less what's going on with it, what the upcoming plans are for it, since I have been gone for such a long time and just now starting to get back into recording and stuff. I don't even know really where to start. So everything up here is the same. My intercooler and radiator is all mounted up through the tube front and everything. If you haven't seen that, go check out the videos where I've done that. I started getting the fuel system plumbed up, so I've got the fuel filter and everything up here. I still got to figure out what to do with the vacuum line. I'm not 100% if I should just block this off or what to do with it, because it's just the evap line. If any of you guys have done any swaps or anything, let me know in the comments what to do with this line, because I really have no clue. But I did get the line ran, and it will pop up right here to go to this end of the fuel rail. And I have this one already sitting here waiting to just be plumbed up to the fuel rail too. Everything else fuel-wise is done. I made the return lines and everything running back to the tank, so that's all good to go. We obviously just did the lines and stuff for the oil cooler and everything, which will be right out here, unless you guys have any better ideas. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, the previous owner of the RB had kind of, he didn't like AN lines necessarily. Not necessarily didn't like them, but he didn't run AN line. Actually, this is it right here. So it just kind of plopped in. He ran it out this way, teed it off to whatever. I did it this way because I think this just looks better. It's a lot cleaner and stuff. So I got the little fittings, the AN fittings that drop down in, and I ran it over to where the battery used to be. I'm going to put the battery in the rear of the car. So I put the oil catch can inside here. That way it kind of keeps it away from as much heat as possible too. Realistically, the reason I put it there was because I literally just couldn't find anywhere else in the engine bay to put it without mounting it to like the tube front. The intercooler piping and everything is technically done. I have on this side, I have it where it's coming out of the turbo, coming down through here, it drops down and then kind of comes forward and does a 90 into the intercooler. On this side, can't really see it. Actually, I'm gonna throw all this back together and show you. This should give you a better idea of what the intercooler piping and everything looks like. On this side, you got it coming off the turbo, coming all the way down the side, going straight in to the intercooler right there. Sorry, these lines are in the way for the oil cooler. And this side, literally as simple as can be, 90s off of the throttle body to kind of loop around. The tube front comes down, and I'll have to cut this somewhere in the middle to fit the blow-off valve. That way I can keep it down here, kind of tucked out of the way and everything. Just continue 90 off into the intercooler, and that'll be all plumbed up, good to go. Minus some vacuum line. I'll have to figure something out for the turbo down there because I have the intake sitting over there. It's kind of a tighter fit, and the intercooler piping is not ran necessarily the same as it was. The power steering cooler is in the way, or I could probably find somewhere to move this. That way I can get it to come up normal. Eventually I will go top mount turbo and everything. I just kind of want to finish off this turbo. It has the smallest little bit of play. I think it'll be fine for a little bit, but definitely not long term. So eventually, top mount manifold, top mount turbo, all that stuff. We'll move on to the inside real quick because there's some stuff I need to do in here. So this is my setup for the hydro. I have it tucked up in the dash so you can't really necessarily see it. I love it that way. I'm sure you guys have seen it in the video, and I want to continue to keep it that way. Whether I have to make more or less my own dash and stuff, which I kind of want to do that myself anyways to fit radio. I hate this little freaking cubby hole. It never works. If you're a Z owner out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a piece of shit. It never stays, bro. The shifter down there absolutely does not line up, as you can tell. So I'm gonna have to basically cut the bracket for the handbrake out and kind of move it over a little bit. That way I can cut the smallest little slit in here. Nobody makes a relocation mount for the transmission or for the gear shifter. What I'm thinking is I'll take the gear shifter, the normal factory gear shifter, and kind of weld a bended rod up to where it comes up through here, but it would technically be cut slits in, so it would just come up, go through, and then come up through the boot right here. That way I can keep more factory looking interior, and then we'll be good to go there. And another small issue I'm gonna have with inside the car is I have no passenger seat anymore. So I had a fake bride in the passenger side that worked great. Like it was a great seat, but my buddy needed some new seats, so he wanted to buy my old fake brides off of me because I had already switched over to a Prisma for the driver's side, and I want to do that for the passenger side too. Oh, if you don't remember, your boy got Lambo doors too. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out because that's pretty cool. A lot more stuff gonna happen with this car. I still gotta finish the fuel system, of course. I have 550cc injectors going to a 350 AEM pump in the back. Of course, this is just the eBay regulator and stuff like that because I don't really need anything special. But fuel rail is actually over here in this box. It's a nice radium fuel rail. Nice radium rail. The only problem is they don't send you the block off fittings for the bottom of the rail, and they also don't send the fittings on the side too. I'm still waiting on those to come in the mail, and then basically the fuel system's done. I just literally have to put the fuel rail on and go from there. My whole point of this is basically trying to get majority of the lines AN lines, so that if I do need to fix something, whether it's trackside or whatever, a lot of people are going to have AN lines and fittings and stuff that I could steal from them at the track if I needed to. And of course, I'm going to have my own spare sets and stuff like that. In all honesty, defeats the purpose of ever having to go to the parts store. If you just stay on top of your shit, bring your extra fittings and lines and stuff like that when you're at the track, you won't necessarily have to worry about it. So of course, I'm going to need a drive shaft and everything too. That's going to come later on. I don't need a drive shaft to start the car. My main priority is getting the motor started, but I do want to kind of make sure I have the engine bay plumbed up with everything that it needs, if that makes sense. So I know for a fact I'm keeping the RB in here, so I want everything around the RB to be in its correct spot for the RB for when I start it. In case something does go bad with the motor or anything like that, everything's already got its brackets, everything's already got its lines plumbed up, everything's done. If I need to take the motor out for any reason at all, you know, knock on glass, of course, I'll be able to do so and still have everything there. I would literally just have to mess with the motor, put it back in, put everything back on. I wouldn't have to worry about fabricating any more stuff or anything like that. Eventually I'm thinking about doing a full exhaust system out the back. Obviously there's no bumper or anything on here. I kind of want to do, it comes out the back and it kind of pokes up a little bit. I don't know why. I love that look. Call me cheesy if you want. And eventually too, the carbines are gone. I'm done. Don't get me wrong, they're a great wheel. They're very affordable. You get a whole set for about $500 to $600, and that's with decent specs and stuff too. So these are 18x9 plus 15, so you got a really good offset and everything. They fit the Z kind of perfectly, especially with a 25mm spacer up front. Money. I haven't quite decided what wheels I want to go with yet. I did see the wheel that Kansei came out with, that is kind of a knockoff Blitz wheel. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but I feel like everybody and their mom's gonna be wanting to run it, so I'm kind of steering away from those. Still an option, but I'm not quite sure yet. I do kind of want to talk to stage wheels and a couple other companies to see about maybe getting some type of sponsorship or anything like that. So Stage, hit me up if you want to work with me or anything like that. But if you guys know of any wheels that you think would look good on this car, now keep in mind the paint will be changing eventually because I want to go to a Vertex kit. The reason is because Vertex is the only front bumper that I even somewhat find attractive on Zs. A lot of Z bumpers, they just don't look good. The KBD one, the main KBD bumper that everybody runs on their car, I mean, I understand KBD is supposed to be durable, it's supposed to be very flexible and stuff like that, but it just flaps around unless you've got 10, 12 different brackets on it to hold it still. But then that defeats the purpose of having such a flexible body kit. I don't quite know. I don't know. Whatever. But let me know what you guys think wheel-wise I should run with. I've been looking at, of course, Kansei wheels. I don't really necessarily want to go full 3-piece wheels yet. Eventually, that is a possibility. But I don't really know if I want to stick with this chassis forever. The Z chassis is becoming kind of overdone. And it sucks because they're a great car, but it's just a designated like learner car. Nobody really wants to do anything with these. That's why I went RB and I didn't want to go LS or anything like that because it's not special. Everyone does that. Everyone does a 1J, 2J swap in these cars, and I didn't want to do that. I will still stick by 1J is still my favorite motor, but it blows my mind to know that this is an RB25. It came out of a Nissan. And this is a Nissan. The 350Z is a Nissan. So why wouldn't you want to put a Nissan motor in a Nissan? I feel like that makes sense, but everyone wants to do the 1J and 2JZ swap on it, which everyone makes parts for it, so that's understandable. It's easier to accomplish, if that makes sense. I've had to basically fabricate almost everything with this swap. It's definitely no small feat. Is that the saying? I think that's the saying. I have no idea. Keep an eye out. We definitely will be doing some more stuff to it. Right now, I just kind of want to get caught up with it, mainly, so I'm not recording every little bit that I do to the car. So I'm sorry, but I know nobody else out there is making even any type of videos that have to do with a RB25 or any RB swap into a Z. It's kind of hard to find videos and stuff more or less about RB swaps in general, I feel like. I don't know. But I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I'm sorry, guys. So let me know in the comments what kind of ideas you guys have, because I'm just winging it as I go with the process. Kind of just finding parts that I like here and there, and just kind of throwing it all, whatever. If you like my build, go ahead, smash the like button. If you want to see more of it, go ahead and hit subscribe. And again, comment something that you want to see on this build. I definitely want more people's opinion, more people's knowledge. I am not the most knowledgeable on RB motors. I'm still kind of learning as I go, and I love that. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling at this point. But that's it for this one, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. But other than that, I appreciate it, and stay lost, my friends.